In the past few weeks, there has been 2 mass shootings in the United States. One in Buffalo, and then another one just recently in Texas. And this one was a school shooting. And this one killed 19 children and 2 teachers. The one in Buffalo was more of a act of domestic terrorism and racial hate. 10 people ended up being killed in a supermarket, and vast majority of them were of black race. And in that case, the man was a white supremacist. And in the Texas school shooting, there was an 18-year-old boy who was mentally insane and ill, and in the heat of the moment decided to shoot up a school, and in the process killed 19 children and two teachers. The kids were like around 9 or 10 years old, for that matter. What's up, guys? Magic Knives here, and in the background you are watching some COD Vanguard knife-only gameplay. I know it's been a while since I've done any commentaries or gameplays of sorts, but I've just been really busy, caught up with the work and stuff like that, and I do have some videos that I'm working on in the background that'll be coming up with soon. But in light of recent events, I mean, I had to just come out here and do a commentary to talk about this, because I know, in spite of the tragedy that has become of this whole circumstance, there's gonna be a lot of backlash that comes from this whole set of events. Firstly, you have the Buffalo shooting, right, which was a racial inspired act of violence committed on blacks, right? And in this case, I mean, you had this guy just murdering 10 people because of the color of their skin. And you even had a security officer who was armed at the time, and he actually took a few shots, or he tried to take down the gunman, but unfortunately, due to the armed intruder or the armed perpetrator, he ended up having body armor, so that caught the round, and unfortunately for the security officer, he was gunned down himself. The officer did what he could. He was a hero. He did everything he could to try and stop it, and I'm really sorry for his family and the people that knew him and such. And then you have the case of the Texas school shooting, which I'm gonna kind of focus more on in this case, because in this case you had the school itself had armed guards and such, and in the events prior to that, you have, from what we know so far, the 18-year-old boy, who I'm not gonna name because I'm not gonna give him any sort of fame or notoriety from this, in the events prior, he ended up actually shooting his grandmother in his house. This is the info that we have so far, in the events leading up to it. Somehow the grandmother survived, but she's in critical condition right now. And he, in the heat of the moment, given his mental issues, he decided to shoot up a school. And most of the kids ended up being around 9 or 10 years old, which it rips your heart hearing that 19 kids that were just still in their youth, they're not going to be coming home to their mother and father and their families, and 2 teachers that just they're just trying to help educate our future generation. They get mowed down as well. So, and the worst part about it is because, like I said, this school had armed guards and police officers. The worst part about it is that they had the tools to protect themselves and the school, most importantly. Okay, forget about themselves. Their job is to protect the kids and the teachers and the staff in the school. And unfortunately, because of whatever the case is, we don't know much info right now. They were not able to stop this man from entering into the school and killing 19 children and 2 teachers. Now, right now, from what we know, the gunman entered. He breached through. He crashed his truck in a ditch somewhere near the school, and shot a police officer or a security guard. I'm not exactly sure, but from there he got into a brief gunfight with the guards there, and then somehow made his way through into the school, and then managed to barricade himself inside a classroom with all the kids and teachers that he ended up killing. So he barricaded himself into a classroom which was actually connected to another classroom, which is what allowed him to shoot a bunch more people. Due to the insufficient power that the security guards and the police at the time had, due to the lack of that, they were not able to breach and stop the shooter from committing the atrocities that he did. And I say this to you guys. I've done videos in the past of like how to stop shootings and stuff like that, where, you know, having metal detectors, having armed guards, and even arming the teachers, which is the one thing in this case that might have saved these kids from getting slaughtered. That was like the last line of defense that they could have had, potentially, that these teachers could have potentially had to have stopped the shooter from killing 19 children. That's the one thing that they left out, unfortunately, and caused this to happen. It wasn't there. It just wasn't there. And the fact that these armed guards or police officers failed in coordinating properly in this moment to stop the shooter from actually even entering the school, something went wrong there. Now, people are immediately, in response to the Buffalo and the Texas shooting, they are going to jump straight to wanting to get more gun control laws and trying to put more bans in place to stop this from happening. But the truth of the matter is, even in these circumstances, like if you put more gun control laws in this case, the same thing would have happened. In fact, even more people probably would have been killed if it weren't for the fact that there were police officers and security and armed guards there to try to stop this from happening. Now, unfortunately, in this case, the armed security guards and stuff, they did not coordinate well to stop this from becoming so tragic as it did. So, unfortunately, I gotta tell you that the more gun control laws will not stop this. Will not stop future shootings. This will keep happening unless we start acting more serious about protecting schools. Because when you have schools that are filled with a bunch of kids that are vulnerable to this kind of thing, like they are a target for mentally ill murderers like this, you have to wake up to the reality that there are going to be people that are going to target these schools, and they are not going to care about your gun-free zone signs and laws. And teachers and school boards need to take this more seriously and start putting out more security measures in order for our schools and kids to be more safer in the future, so that when this thing happens again, lives will not so many lives will be saved rather than lost. That's the truth of the matter when it comes to these sort of school shootings and tragedies and such. And this includes just any place in the public sector, not just schools, but also malls, in reference to the Buffalo shooting and such. Thanks for watching, guys. I know this is a heavy one, but I appreciate you for listening to my commentary. Please let me know your thoughts on the comments below, and hope to see you guys in my future videos. Take it easy, guys.